the more uncomfortable he felt. He snuck out for a solitary cigarette. This could be one of his last, he thought. She had said that afternoon that she would never date a smoker. When everyone was finally ready, the group made its way into town. They were careful not to walk too close to one another, their afternoon still too precious to be soiled by potential teasing from the others. He was back in the same clothes he had worn on their date, while she had on yet another outfit, a figure-hugging black velvet dress, tights, and boots. At their first stop, she downed 2 drinks. She was a terrible drinker, and 2 gin and tonics in quick succession were enough to make her feel light-headed and bold. He was also drinking with purpose, but being better at it required far more to reach a similar level of boldness. The group, decidedly more ungainly now, moved further down the road to another club, this one with a dance floor. After one more drink, and standing around for what felt like a safe amount of time, she asked him to dance. She was ordinarily a good dancer, but, being quite drunk, she moved around him clumsily, her body sometimes bumping against his. He put his arms around her waist as if to steady her, before letting them settle there. She snaked her arms around his shoulders in response. They accidentally backed into a wall and dissolved into laughter, all pretense of dancing lost. She leaned back against the wall, pulled his face towards her, and kissed him. Discovery, 26 July. I found some hairs last night, long and dark, glaring at me against the white tiles of the bathroom floor. I just got back from my work trip and was unpacking my toiletries, and there they were. I picked a couple up and looked at them. I rolled them between my fingers. They were dark at the roots and lighter at the ends. I felt nauseous. I left a clump on the vanity and waited. There was no mention of them that evening, so, as we brushed and flossed before bed, I casually pointed them out. Me. I found these hairs on the floor when I got home. Jess. Really? I don't know anything about them. Me. Are you sure? Jess. Yes. I scooped them up and put them in the bin. I didn't push it. Something told me not to. Things haven't been good between us, as it is. Now that I think about it, they haven't been good since a month or so after my last overseas trip. Jess hadn't wanted me to go. I was actually quite worried. I had even considered cancelling, except that I'd been looking forward to it so much. Doing all my favourite things in all my favourite places, getting off the Heathrow Express, walking the 2 blocks to the SAS, hauling my suitcase up and down the inexplicable staircases, doing my ultimate Saturday, the walk through the Muse houses into the park, traipsing off towards Notting Hill, having breakfast at the bakery, trawling for whimsies and vintage clothes at the market before heading back past the little houses with ornate door knockers, the flower-covered pub, and the huge white townhouses until I arrived at the V&A, where I would see all the things I always saw, especially the great bed of ware. Then I would go to Harrods to look at things I couldn't afford before buying tea in the food hall. And then it was off to Paris to do all the things I like to do there. Pain au chocolat, the flea, shopping for designer vintage, a walk around Montmartre, the cemeteries, the gardens at Versailles. I was looking forward to the time alone, interested to see how I would handle it. The 2.5 weeks away would be the longest we had ever spent apart. But Jess was worried, and that made me worried. I still went, and I had fun at first, but his messages concerned me. They were distant, uncommunicative, more so than usual, that is. There was not a single emoji to be had. I asked his mum to use her position of maternal authority to go over and check up on him. Suzanne reported back that Jess seemed fine, his usual self. But he wasn't. I knew he wasn't. I wasn't either. I couldn't write any of the articles I was supposed to be writing for a publication back home. I couldn't read any of the books.